very old man, this couple sitting with such quiet dignity, this mother with her child, all are Americans of Japanese descent. So too is the rest of this audience, which here listens with solemn pride as the Army honors their sacred dead. Japanese American soldiers killed in action. Afterwards, a wife who has lost her husband is presented with the Silver Star. A father receives the Distinguished Service Cross. His son was killed in Italy, where he and thousands of other Japanese Americans, including the son of this woman, have produced one of the most remarkable combat records of the war. Important and decisive battles. And each time, these men of the 100th Infantry Battalion and the 442nd Combat Team have been right out in front. Here, after bitter fighting, they enter Livorno, one more ill-fated town that has been pounded into rubble, as the Fifth Army makes its slow, torturous advance up the hot, dry valleys of Italy. Already within the buildings, the dead have begun to stink, as the men deploy cautiously, wary of enemy snipers that have been left behind. And the Nazis, when they're rounded up, are plenty surprised. Suspicious of their own propaganda, Hans believes he's begun to fight Japan, too. Fritz thinks that maybe these GIs are Chinese troops, recently transferred to the Italian front. The casualties are returned to field hospitals. The seriously wounded immediately undergo emergency operations. While this GI, lying under a tent, has already begun his period of convalescence. Outside, the men walk around, read, talk, and anxiously await the day when they will go back into action. Sometimes they don't wait, but pulling an AWOL in reverse, they join their companies on the battlefield before their wounds are completely healed. Sounds crazy? Well, maybe. But these men don't think so. They've got a reason for being one of the top outfits in this war, as one of them testifies.
I'm from Seattle. After war was declared, I was evacuated from the Pacific coast. When the call came for volunteers for a combat team, I volunteered from a relocation center to show my loyalty and to prove that I had the right to live as a good American citizen.
That's pretty much the story of all these men. Born in Hawaii or on the Pacific coast, they've grown up and gone to school in Honolulu, Pomona, Los Angeles, San Jose. They've played football, visited drive-ins, gone to the movies at night. Their memories are the memories of all Americans, as the paper airplanes which they make for these Italian kids so clearly proves. At the same time, these men are also aware of the great prejudice against them because of the war in the Pacific. They know that there are people back home who make no distinction between them and the Japs we have fought at Tarawa, Saipan, and the Philippines. That's why these men originally volunteered, and why for 11 long months now, they've been in continuous combat. They've wanted to prove to other Americans how wrong it is to judge a man by the pigment of his skin or the shape of his eyes. They've wanted to prove that a soldier can fight better as a free man with a belief in God than he can as a slave with a belief in the imperial Japanese religion of Shintoism.
Lieutenant O'Hara, your battalion has done a wonderful job in this Italian campaign. What are your reasons for fighting?
I'm fighting over here for the better things of life and to preserve the American way of living.
After their gear is once more in order, the men of the 100th Infantry Battalion march to where they are to receive a citation from General Mark Clark, commander of the 5th Army. General Clark, as he will tell you, is of Irish-English descent. Many of our GIs who once fought against the Italians are of Italian descent. Thousands of our men now fighting on the Western Front are of German descent. But as in the case of these Japanese, they are no less Americans, ready to fight for their country and their belief in democracy.
All of you Americans of Japanese descent have a right to be proud today. You have demonstrated true Americanism and true American citizenship on the field of battle. You have realized the necessity of coming to this distant land and leaving your homes and your loved ones in order that you could destroy this enemy who would take from you the American way of life and the freedoms which we value so highly in America. You have another right to be proud, for you have reached the high standards of American fighting men. You are always willing to close with the enemy. He has no bluff on you, and you've always defeated him. And let me tell you again, the 34th Division is proud of you, the 5th Army is proud of you, America is proud of you. And I know that whatever future action you go into, you will conduct yourselves with glory and bring about the peace that we are entitled to. Good luck to you, and God bless you.
APO 1634, San Francisco, California. Dear Lou, your letter hit me in Australia just before we hopped a northbound choo-choo for New Guinea. I would have answered, but most of my free time's used up writing Phyllis. Believe me, boy, I miss her like hell. I miss the whole damn town, you included. But recently, we finished up our job at Boona, so we're getting a couple of days breather. Incidentally, excuse the spots, it's raining, and the drops is leaking down my arm. The whole New Guinea thing has been something, Lou. Call it a experience. That's a tolerable word, I guess. Right from the start, when we come off the boat at Port Moresby, I knowed something was up. No waiting around, stalling like usually. Right off, we hit the timber. And from 1 hour after we left till right now, right in you, it's been jungle. Jungle, just like in books. And when we come up near Jap territory, you couldn't help getting itchy about that thick green wall. Every second you wonder, maybe a Jap's hanging in that tree, hiding in those bushes, ready to pop you off. No roads, nothing like Elm Street or Vine Drive. Out here, we had to make them ourselves. Some sort of road to support the heavier stuff when it moved up. They're funny-looking things made with logs, like tracks. Most of the time, they work okay. But the roads and them trails through the jungles was no good for supplies. Most of what we needed had to come by air. Whenever we hit a clearing, maybe a little jungle village, up they come from Moresby. Big transports in a kind of delivery service, like Frescani's grocery wagon to home, only bigger. In they'd zoom, a couple 100 feet up, scaring the pants off the bush boys, and scattering food and ammunition and medical stuff around like a elk's picnic out at the dells. Japs had been through a few weeks before, going backwards. So them guys done all they could for us before we pushed on, chasing the Japs. We kept knocking the Japs back and back until we got them bunched up on the beach at Boona and Boona Mission. It was a little different out there on the sand. Japs was hidden in the jungle, close by. But Yank scouts pushed up and up that beach. The rest of us hanging back with 37s and 30s, pumping lead into the jungle, cover for them guys up ahead. We were scared, Lou. Scared like hell. Couldn't help it. But still, our guys kept it going, inching up that beach, scared or no scared. Right up to the end, the Japs fought, fierce and tough, believe me. But I don't know, with them it's like animals, like the header, different from us. Dead ones didn't seem sorry they was dead much, and live ones seemed dumb, plain dumb. That outfit of theirs don't want them to live for anything particular, just wants them to starve and die for it, not asking any questions about what they're dying for. When they did live, they didn't seem too happy about it. Seeing them poor, thin Japs give me a pretty fair idea why we're fighting against what they stand for. The difference between a Jap ball club and the American. I'm running out of paper, so just one more thing. The Aussies, like you asked about. Well, I reckon there's more like Americans than some of us, Lou. Good swearing, good living, good guys with a fight in them like tigers and a hell of a sense of humor. They got the same feeling about Japs we got, only more. Big difference between them and us is their hats. And the fact they've been out here longer than we have. For a long time, you know, it was their own show. And they'd hit plenty of trouble, plenty of casualties. Even then, natives was helping them, carrying a stream of wounded back from the front, which they done regular. The whole thing's been no dancing party. No point trying to fool about that. New Guinea ain't no garden spot, and them Japs shoot pretty straight. But hell, rain or no rain, Japs or no Japs, us guys out here figure we got a war to win. So when you tell about me back home, tell everybody. Us out here is in good hands, fighting good, side by side with good guys right up to the top, General MacArthur and General Blamey. And all of us gonna get this over quick as we can.